Hey folks, welcome to G4G on YouTube. As always, I'm your host Napalm Dawn, and today we've got some fun news. We have got a new Marvel game that is out there on mobile. It's going to be out for Android, it's going to be out for iOS. However, it is only in the Asian regions currently, similar to another Marvel game that we'll talk about in a few moments. So you may be wondering, well, if it's only out there, how am I going to play it? What are we going to do? How can I, as a person listening to this video, wind up playing this game? Well, the good news is I will tell you how you can do that. So before we get into the meat of the video, I just wanted to display my girlfriend's latest art. This is her Boomkin and my bear druid. As we were back in Wrath of the Lich King, we are sitting on the big island outside of Dalaran, having a picnic. This commission, which started a few years back and had a different theme at the time, it was Legion-based but not Dalaran, has since changed to being about Wrath of the Lich King's Dalaran. And this was the start of our relationship, was basically kind of doing exactly what we're doing here, was just sitting around getting to know each other way back in Wrath of the Lich King, and of course the home base at the time was Dalaran. So this is a work of art that I asked her to make for me, and she finally finished it lately. If you like her style and find this particular piece very good, unfortunately, her Patreon and her commissions are not open right now. She's taking some time off to learn Blender and also just kind of do her own thing for a little while. So she's not available for commission. However, she may be again in the future whenever she is happy with the work that she is doing currently. So that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about this Marvel game. So a while back, Ben Brode left Blizzard and left Hearthstone. It's now a year and a half ago, as you can see here, 1/3/2019. So this was in a itis-free world, a simpler time, when Ben Brode bailed. Well, I shouldn't say bailed, that's a negative connotation. He left Blizzard. Unfortunately, this was part of the slow bleed that Blizzard had for a couple years, where Metzen and Brody, they were just losing a lot of their soul. And it was really sad to see these kinds of things happen at Blizzard. But he went on to form a new company called Second Dinner. And one of the things that Second Dinner said they were going to do was they were going to get a Marvel license, and they were going to form a card game about the Marvel Universe. Well, Battle Lines showed up, and that wasn't it. Battle Lines is unfortunately dead, but it was a very interesting game in that it combined card collecting with a sort of Connect 4 type of setup. You may think, well, that almost sounds like the Tetra Triad or whatever from Final Fantasy 8 and 9, and sort of. You didn't have corners or anything. You tried to make 3-packs or 4-pack lines, and then you essentially did stuff to the enemy hero. Well, Battle Lines is dead, and it was a very unique game. It had a lot of interesting art. It mostly dealt with the MCU, but there was a lot of characters in there that I just never heard of, like Doorman and Spot and like Black Maria I hadn't heard of, and everybody was like, oh, that's from Luke Cage. And I was like, I watched that on Reddit, Netflix, I just didn't catch it. Well, a new game was coming out lately that we kind of thought might be Second Dinner's game. The reason why is this game coming out was tied to Netease, similar to Marvel Super War, which also is only in the Asiatic regions, but you can play it outside of that if you wanted to. Well, as it turns out, nope, it is not. Second Dinner, their game is still being worked on. Now, they have some openings if you wanted to get a job with them and everything. However, the game that Second Dinner is doing is not the one that is currently coming out. If we look at Second Dinner and here, Marvel Duel. I'm a big fan of the 5 Golden Era, Ben Brode, Young Woo, now Second Dinner. Is Marvel Duel the game Second Dinner has been working on? So Brody says no, it's not. They're still 1 to 2 years away, which does sound a little depressing. Now, being 4 months ago, and this being the beginning of August, 4 months ago would have been April. We were in the start of the itis at the time. If this goes back to March, it still may have been borderline, but we were probably in the thick of things already with the itis. So, they might have been taking that into account when they said it's still 1 to 2 years out. Well, somebody said, does it take 4 years to develop? So Brody says, not all of them, but they're trying to do something really, really different and make it really good and make it high quality. So, where does that leave us now? Well, that leaves us with the Second Dinner game still out there, which means we have something to look forward to. It's just going to be far off. So this still is up there with the ranks of Marvel Future Revolution and whatever is coming out with that Marvel contest of greedy fuckballs. That one with the map and the Stark technologies, and you're essentially pledging to a tribe like the Hulk tribe or the Iron Man tribe. That one is still out there. I forget exactly the name of that one, but there was going to be 4 games we were looking for. The Second Dinner game, Marvel Avengers, Marvel Future Revolution, and the other one from Marvel Contest of Champions. Well, Marvel Avengers, I will be playing the closed beta on PC in the middle of August. I'll be a week late because I didn't get it on the PS4. This game that we're going to look today is not the Second Dinner one. So we still have 3 outstanding Marvel games to look at. However, this new one dropped, which is called Marvel Duel. And this is by the same people who do Marvel Super War. As we said, Netease. This time, it's Netease with a company called Leo Games. Or there it is, Leo Cool Games. Now, for iOS, I'm sorry, you guys are probably out of luck. In order to play this on iOS, you're most likely going to need to have a jailbroken device and download the IPA from a source. I don't know if Apple stores can be fooled via VPN. It's possible. You could try to go hit the Apple store with a VPN, trying to claim that you're from like Korea or the Philippines or something, and maybe you can get this. For Android, it is super easy. You install the app called APK Pure, and then download it directly to the device, or in 1 second, I want to show you guys this. So as the comic panels scroll by, sometimes they will stop, and a character will jump out and do character things. Like there's Hulk looking like he's from Rampage, the movie, or the video game. For me, it's a video game because I'm old enough for it, but yeah, so this right here, apkpure.com/Marvel Duel. This is the current one that is available. You want to get the one that is about 1 gig. It includes the OBB data for it. If you get one older than late July, it is one that's too old and won't work. So you can either download the APK to your computer and slap it on an emulator like BlueStacks, or you can get the APK Pure app on your device and download it that way. I do believe it is also available in Qoo app. I don't even really know what the name of that is, actually. I call it Qoo app. It might be something. It might be Cool Whip. So, there is an opening event going on. Now, you could have pre-registered for this, which, hello, I earned an epic card. More on that. Oh, yeah. When you see these screens, it looks like there's no way out other than hit create. Do not hit create. It will take you to a screen where you create cards based off of this game's dust. You're going to see me draw a lot of parallels to Hearthstone in this. There's reasons for it. So what Hearthstone would call dust, this game calls these like these shard things. When you go and hit create, it attempts to create it from these things. That's not what you need to do. Just click somewhere. When I first played this on my Marvel Hour stream at the end of last week, I kept going to create, and I was like, how do I get out of this? And somebody was like, just tap anywhere. So here's the home screen. My main character is currently Thor. The game kind of sets you up for that. You have Season Pass, Shop, Superheroes, Leaderboards, Bag, Collection Decks, and Packs. Duel Mode, which is your standard PvP, Training, and Adventure. Training is essentially playing a match with bots, similar to what you would do in Duel. These are essentially these Stardust crystals. These are isogems. This is coins, and then I haven't actually clicked a whole bunch of the other stuff. Oh, an in-game wiki. Okay, that's cool. And the gear is your settings. Now, you could scroll through them, or you could jump to them by tapping. Now, your mail is there. Season Pass. Let me tell you, get the Season Pass. Now, I've gotten it, and I believe it only costs 30 Stardust. And now, to figure out context, 30 Stardust, at the time I got it, said it was $5.01. You also got a big Thanos card the first time you did any purchase whatsoever. So you could get a big, beefy Thanos card that I'll show you for $1. Or you can spend $5 and get the Season Pass that apparently lasts for life. Now, I'll show you the Thanos card that I got. If I can find it. I believe he was a 6. I believe I can just type Thanos over here. Okay. This is the card you get for any purchase. Invocation, which means anytime a card is triggered from the hand. Skills that trigger when a card in the hand is played. So, essentially, we don't... If you click the snap, it takes you to it. At the start of the next battle, defeat half characters on the battlefield at random except for Thanos. Ooh, that's mighty. I should try and work that into a deck. This 30... So let's talk about what you see on the card over here. Gem cost is essentially mana in Hearthstone. This is how many gems it costs to buy this card from the store. He has 30 power, and he is he's an attacker. That's why he has that red flag over there. So the red flag means there are an attacker. And for this card, they belong to the Stark Industries subset. Like Guardians of the Galaxy, Asgardians, Avengers. That's what the keyword is over here. So this one costs 4 gems. It's an attack character, and it has an invocation skill on it. If we were to look at Heimdall, Heimdall is considered support. Yellow flag is support. He's an Asgardian. When an Asgardian character gains armor in battle, this card gets +2 power. So we would go from 4 to 6 to 8, etc., etc. And then the final type is the blue type called Guardian. This one is a Marvel Knights. It's a spell, but it's a spell that can only... no, excuse me. This one is still a summon. This is Shang-Chi. Now, you'll see 2 things on the card over here. 3 armor, 3 power. Armor is a shield that takes damage before your power does. In this game, power and toughness or attack and hit points are the same thing, the bottom number. So whatever this number is whatever damage it does. If something were to buff Shang-Chi to 10, he would be dealing 10 damage, not 3, but he also has 10 hit points, not 3. If he got bumped to 10 and took 3 damage, he'd be at 7. 7 hit points, 7 attack. It's a weird thing, but it makes sense because it mostly uses this armor to kind of act like hit points. So when this card is attacked, it retaliates for double damage. So that's the retaliate skill. Here's Collector. Your other support characters get +1 action time. It means other yellow flag characters on the field, when he's on the field, get to act twice. Here's Star-Lord. When a friendly Guardian of the Galaxy character defeats a character, give all your characters +3 power. So it's when anybody with the GOTG tag kills an enemy card, Star-Lord spreads +3 power to everybody on the field. So that's essentially, you have these death rattle effects, you have these battle cry effects. I can't say that I've seen anything. Well, haste isn't a big deal, but we'll talk about that. So if you go to superhero, you are asked during the training if you want to unlock Thor or Spider-Man. I picked Thor, but I do have the ability still to unlock Spider-Man. Iron Man is unlocked, Star-Lord is unlocked, and Thor is. Now, you get these skills when you're in combat, and right now, these first 2 skills are available to me. They're these kind of passives that you get, like a Hearthstone character's ability, but you earn them a little bit later into the game. If you go to decks, you can create your own, or you can look at the starter ones. When you click a character, you pull up cards that belong to that character. They're associated to it. It's like the Druid cards, or the Hunter cards, or the Warrior cards in Hearthstone. You also have neutrals, which again, similar to Hearthstone, are cards that can go with anybody. Your available cards are on top, your deck is on bottom. You can only have a certain amount of cards in your deck. Now if we were to look at Star-Lord over here, you'll notice a bunch of Guardians of the Galaxies appeared down here. If I go to Thor, you'll see a bunch of Thors. This right here is one of the reasons why we wondered if this was the second dinner game, because their like tagline was, in a universe where Throg can go ahead and team up with Iron Man and everything, and we thought we saw Throg and he's not in any other game. We're like, oh, maybe this is the second dinner game. Nope. It was not. So that means there's still another card game out there. If you go to bag, this is your inventory. These things are to turn in for character specific packs, and these are generic packs. So what I mean by that, if you go to the shop and you go to value pack, these are the things you can buy with money, also your free gifts. But if you go to packs, those tickets allow you these things over here. So these are the generic Gwenpool ones, and these are the character specific ones. When you open one of them, you tap on it, and it'll say, hey, these are the things that you can earn from these packs. And it's going to use the pink tickets. If you buy one, it gives you this neat little animation where it makes you hold the button down on the insignia, and then it opens the pack. This looks very similar to Heroes of the Storm at this point, when you open up a loot box. These are kind of your basic ones. This is a better one, and this is an even better. So I like to always open the basics first. So this is an equipment, that's Drax, and that's M'Baku. That's another summon, yellow jacket, armor, and 1 power, 1 hit point. guardian, attacker. This is weird. Usually, Yellow Jacket is portrayed as an attacker or DPS, and M'Baku is usually portrayed as a guardian, as a tank, or at least a Marvel Strike Force. They're different here. Drax is also a tank in Marvel Strike Force. Here he's an attacker. And then finally we have Opening Act, which is just simply kind of like an enchantment. It's a spell. Reduce the power of the opponent with the highest power by half and give them stunned at start of the next battle. So that essentially means the card doesn't act. And it costs 5 gems to buy. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, wait a minute, Napalm, I hear you keep saying buy, but not play. What exactly do you mean? Well, I'm going to go to Adventure, and I'm going to go to a hero trial, and now I picked Captain Marvel as my first hero trial after I was done with Thor. I didn't know I was picking a 6-pack trial instead of a 3-pack, but oh well. That's the breaks. So, I'm going to go back and do this one over here, which is a bit tricky. So these trials are like, if you ever played the Magic the Gathering game that was everywhere, it was on Steam, it was on mobile, called Duel of the Planeswalkers. You had normal fights, but then you had these puzzle fights, or these trick fights, where you had to do certain things to get past them, and they required usually one very specific way of getting out of it, sometimes one or two. So here is what a typical battle looks like. Now, normally over here you have a list of about 8 people, 6 or 8 people. In this case, it's just me versus a weakened Minerva. This is the shop. You'll notice I have 6 coins to spend. These two are 3 each for 6. The shop can be upgraded, refreshed, or you can lock cards in. Each of those things cost gems. This is Chewy, the Flurgan down here. That's end turn. This is you, and sometimes you have an ability over here. Well, for this, I purchased both. Do not hit end turn. You're still going. Now you can put the cards on the field however you want. This is last word. So this is a death rattle. Deal 1 damage each to 2 opponents. And that's what that little Surtur thing means over there. So the way that it goes is that Miss Marvel is part of the Intergalactic War set. She has Guard and Iron Will. Guard is a taunt. Opponents must first attack your characters with Guard. Iron Will, as long as this card has armor, damage taken will not exceed the armor's number. So we're going to put her here. And then Kamala says when a friendly character deals skill damage, the card gets 1 power. So that means anytime last words goes off over here, or after being attacked, deal 2 damage. Those are the skills. They're not tied to the 6 or the 3 or the 1 or anything like that. Oh, wait, nope. That's it. Okay. Now when I hit end turn, it actually commits me to the turn and begins the battle against Minerva. And Minerva also has a Chewy. So that's Kamala's passive going off. That's Miss Marvel's passive going off. Kamala's going off. And there you go. That's how you pass this particular challenge. You have to do that in that order. It is designed to buff Kamala each round so that when she gets into the one-on-one situation at the end, she can defeat the card. This one, you cannot buy both. This is a piece of equipment. Applicable characters, all characters. Summon a Miss Marvel when a death rattle or a dying word happens. So what we're going to do, since this is a weak card, we're going to put this over here. And we're going to leave everything in place. We're going to click on Chewy so that he meows. We're going to click on Chewy again, maybe. So here is what will happen. There's the taunt. She fires off. The card dies. Fires the laser, which summons a Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel dies. All of this is buffing Kamala the whole way. And now Kamala is able to do a 6 and a 4 for 10 because she had 12. She wins. The remaining stars go and attack Minerva. She's dead. So the amount of stars that you have left on the field, along with your hero, will always attack the enemy hero if you wind up being the winner. The second time I did this video, this is now my third time because both times have been long, I actually had a push situation, a even Steven where the cars suicided into each other. Nothing wound up happening. So I didn't do damage, I didn't take damage. This, I believe, is the game's story. So this is a PvE mode, and it's kind of a story. These are the trials to unlock heroes. Duel is your standard PvP, and training gives you a mock-up of what you would do in a duel. As you can see from the combat that we just had, this is not a Hearthstone or a Legends of Runeterra or things like that. It's an auto battler. It's like the new mode that is going on in Hearthstone. It's cool to see that because we have so many straight up card games. It's nice to see this auto battler mode of it. It is taking advantage of a hip mode that's new and popular, but at least it isn't exactly the same as a whole bunch of other games. So that's pretty cool to see. Riot and Blizzard are, of course, duking it out on multiple fronts lately, where you have League of Legends going up against Heroes of the Storm. Obviously, you can declare League the winner there. Overwatch is going against Valorant, which is sort of beginning to fade a little bit there with Valorant. Probably declare Overwatch the winner there. And now you have Hearthstone dueling it out with Legends of Runeterra. Well, when those things happen and 2 or 3 big boys are fighting up top, you have others that kind of sneak in over here. And Netease is taking advantage of popular trends. They put out a MOBA, and now they're putting out an auto battler that, believe it or not, is actually super cheap. It's worth it to spend money in this game. All I've spent so far is the $5.01, and I got that Thanos card, and I got the Season Pass unlocked. And apparently the Season Pass is unlocked for life. You don't have to keep buying it. Now this thing over here is a megaphone. I have some of these in inventory. This lets you speak in the announcement channel, which is down here. You may not know what that means or may not have seen that a hell of a lot. That is because in a lot of Asian MMOs, there is a ridiculous amount of what they call Chinese gold farmers, Chinese gold sellers. If you want to know what it is, look up Ni Hao, a Chinese gold farmer story on YouTube by Nim. It's bad in American MMOs at times. It's super bad in the Asian MMOs. They just spam chat constantly with links to buy gold and mounts and stuff. The megaphone was to try and help that by making you have a limited item to run announcements, and when you run out of megaphones you can't announce anymore, therefore you can't spam. Well, I'm pretty sure those gold farmers just had enough cash to buy enough megaphones to do their wares, but here, in order to talk in the announcements channel, you have to burn a megaphone. I have not seen any English in the announcements channel for the most part, so, well, some, but not really. Don't expect some. I'm sure you're just going to build up microphones or megaphones and not even use them. So here is Netease and Leo Cool's Marvel Duel. If you're on Android, you're in luck. It's pretty easy to get. You've got a couple different ways of getting it. If you're on iOS, you may be out of luck unless you can use a VPN for the Apple Store and set yourself to one of the Pacific Rim countries and can get it that way. So far the game is fun. I do plan to play it daily. at least log in daily. I'll probably be covering it on the stream often, as it is fun and it is more playable than Super War, which is really tough to play on an emulator. So there you go, guys. There's Marvel Duel. There's some gameplay. Check it out. It's definitely a lot of fun, and it's not one where the PvP feels particularly awful so far. And I've won one big last training that I did. That was in the second video that I did that I deleted. As for Duel, I had one where I was really, really good in the early game and got hit once or twice in the mid-game, bounced back, and then fell apart really, really late, where my cards just got outclassed. So, have fun. Hope you guys like the game. Enjoy.